All right, boom. Here we go, y'all. Woo! Here we go. This is another one, okay, for a tournament guidebook. Of course, you know, we got like 25 videos so far in this one playlist, almost 300 videos on the channel. So shout out to everybody that watched. Now, today's video is a tournament guidebook, another video from that upcoming book that's coming out from Vishnu Warrior. We're going to have him on the stream real soon. He in the chat right now. Of course, we got a nasty game here, something nice for you guys to learn. And today, we're going from tournament guidebook, of course, one-liners, axioms, mantras, the name of the book. Right, today, we're looking at the video of Follow the Yellow Brick Pawn. Excuse me. Yeah, let's say that again. Follow the Yellow Brick Pawn. So remember, from Wizard of Oz, if you're not familiar, you can Google it, but you can also just put it in the chat or Google it, right? Follow the Yellow Brick Road, which is the same thing as Follow the Yellow Brick Pawn today, right? Okay, so watch this. Watch. Today is going to be very nice on how you follow the yellow brick pawn, right? And we're gonna talk about what that actually means in a second here, but this is the game. We got Garry Kasparov versus Nigel Short. We got Gary, the man himself, bro. This was back in 2001 at the Korchnoi birthday knockout, and the site was Zurich. So that's where they were, right? Let me see that again. This was 2001, Garry Kasparov versus Nigel Short. So, all right, here it is. Crazy game. Yeah, this is nuts. And of course, we're going to have interaction from you in the chat. So make sure you actually saying what's up. Fun fact. Okay, The Wizard of Oz was the first movie to be filmed in color. Really? I didn't know that. Flip 6-7. Wow, that's crazy. Well, here we go today. Follow the yellow brick pawn. Right? Follow the yellow brick pawn. Here we go. E4, right? So here it is. E4, E6. This is a quick game, too. You know, Gary liked to play his games in under 30 moves, right? Yeah, that's how we like to do things. So, all right, E4, E6, D4, and D5. And then knight D2, right? The Tarrasch defense of the French. The French defense is actually pretty solid. I've actually never had problems over the board with the French, but sometimes in blitz games, if you're not playing it correctly, you'll have some problems. I'm not a fan of the French anymore. I did play it up for a while. Going through the ranks, I played it against everything because it does resemble Queen's Gambit declines a lot with the E6 and D5 pawns that happen a lot, especially even after D4. But as white, I actually did for a long time. I played the King's Indian attack. Bobby Fischer likes to play that. Bobby Fischer didn't like the French. In fact, his record, if you check Bobby Fischer's score against the French, it wasn't the greatest compared to everything else. Even though he was like, oh yeah, I'll crush the French, but he wasn't really crushing the French. The French is annoying, but at the same time, there's different ways you can play against it. Garry Kasparov was one of the fans of the Knight D2 version, which is called the Tarrasch variation. And this can be very flexible, to say the least, and an easy setup. You can go Knight D2, and then after that, you can follow it with Knight 2 F3. Or, weirdly enough, Bishop D3, Knight E2, and bring this Knight to F3. So, like, it's very strange how the Knights look crazy right here, but then they both kind of cover D4 after you play E5. There's a lot that goes on with this Tarrasch. It's very flexible. I played it over the board once after looking at some games from Gary. In fact, I don't know what year this was. This was before 2014. This had to be, I think I was in high school still. Maybe. I don't remember where this was. I don't remember. No, I wasn't actually. I was in Atlanta. It was after. So I don't remember, bro. I don't remember when this was, but thanks so much for the 8 months, my guy Blues729. This is a long time ago, but I do remember that I played a 2300, right? And he was 2300. I played white, and first time I played this over the board, after looking at some Gary games, I got a draw. It was slightly better position. It was actually King Rook and a pawn versus King Bishop pawn. He had King Bishop pawn. I couldn't figure it out at the time. I wasn't ready. I wasn't an experienced Jedi then, and I didn't know how to win that game. So we ended up getting a draw. But these 92 things are very, very like flexible. They're very flexible ways of playing. Blue729, thanks again for the 8 months. So after knight to d2, you can play this many times. Nowadays, I like to play the knight c3. It is actually one of the most aggressive ways to play. You could also play the Milner-Brey Gambit, which looks like this. E5, C5, C3, and you actually gambit this pawn. I'm a big fan of it, in fact. I'm a big fan of this gambit. Of course, knight takes d4, falls into a deadly trap. But after bishop d7, castles, and taking, I have a lot of theory. Not bishop d2, that's phase blockage. But knight d2 is for real. Like, this is a real thing. So this is real. In fact, Magnus got some games with it. Topalov beat Morozevich back in the day, and not like back in the day. It was like in the 2000s somewhere, but maybe like mid 2000s, early 2000s. I don't remember the date, but I do know Topalov has played this before. There's many ways you can play this. French it's fun. In many ways you can go, but this game in particular, Gary versus Nigel, as we look at follow the yellow brick pawn. Knight to d2 is what he plays, and then at c5 happens, which is regular theory, obviously. Many moves you can make, even knight f6 as well. After c5, knight g to f3, knight f6, e5. Still following theory, y'all. Nothing to look at here. Knight d7, and then c3. Okay, now we're going to get a little bit to the chat in a minute. Right here. In fact, let me take a sip of the water, pinky up. This is about to get real, okay? Let's check this out. Think about this, y'all. So follow the yellow brick pawn, okay? Where did this concept come from? Well, the concept is about following the pawn chain, okay? Yeah, thank you, Xanax. Thank you. That's right. Following the pawn chain. What this is following the pawn chain. Today, this whole analysis is about following the pawn chain, right? So any French defense, whether it's not a French defense, whether it's a perk, whether it's no matter what it is, you always follow the pawn chain. And in fact, the pawn chain points to where you should actually play. Your pawn chain tells you where all of your pieces, your plan, everything you need to do in life as you know it and don't know it should go to where the pawn structure points. The pawn structure points where, class? Raise your hand. Thank you very much. Let me call on you. You over there, right? And in fact, it actually goes to this side of the board. So that means we need to do everything possible on this side of the board and black to do the other side of the board, right? Because their pawn structure points. Let's flip it. There we go, class. Visuals. Here, everything's on the other side of the board, which means black should play on the queen side of the board, right? So think about that. Follow the yellow brick pawn, right? So we need to follow the pawn chain into all of our plans, attacks, and everything we do in life is going to be on that side of the board, right? Thanks so much, Musty Rusty. That's a funny name, Musty Rusty with the tier 1. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much for that. Jim Canty, what's up, bro? 4 square rows and trick, right? I'll ask the wizard for a rank, right? Just learn this concept from Silman. There you go, NJ. There you go. So, right, follow the yellow brick pawn, the whole concept today. Follow the pawn chain, and it will lead you to where you want to go. Okay? It would lead you to where you want to go. All right, let's go to it. Next one. So after c3, b6 happens. This b6 move, for players that are French players and players that play against the French, this is very instructional. With b6, what is this move about? Well, in the French, what is the problem piece? And the problem piece is always the bishop because the pawns are on the same color of this bishop. So you really always have the French bishop. That's exactly what they call it. Excuse me. The reason why they call it that is because this is the French defense. And then the French defense, you get this disgusting bishop. And what b6 does is play bishop a6 with the idea of trading off your great bishop. Flip the board. Great bishop here. Where this bishop, follow the yellow brick pawn, right? So our pieces need to go here and attack him and sack everything and checkmate him. So bishop a6 is to actually stop that. And if you go bishop d3, well, then there is bishop a6. And then, now you have to trade it. It's not the best. And black actually gets a very good game because now the king's bishop, this is a Jedi-like moment right now. Write this down, put this in your book, right? Okay, maybe you can upgrade your lightsaber after today. But the king's bishop is usually the strongest bishop in the position. Usually, it depends on what's going on, but usually when it comes to attacking chess, the king's bishop is usually the most powerful bishop. So I mean, if you think about this is very, very strong. This one's going to be strong, but which one is the real one that you actually usually gonna mate with? It's usually the king's bishop. Very good to understand. Sub moves emotes are genius. Come on, big fella, you know it. You always thought the French bishop was good. We learned something today, didn't we, Bobby? Right? And secondly, don't ever tell nobody that again in your life. Okay? We appreciate you and we love you. All right, let's move on here. So after b6, bishop to b5 is the move here from Gary. Gary played bishop to b5. After bishop b5, there was bishop to e7. And now easy play, castle, castle. Okay, chat, it's on you now. How do we do this? How do we respond? What do we do from here? Follow the yellow brick pawn is the key. What do we do? White to move. It's on you. Follow the yellow brick pawn all the way home. How you gonna do it? Jeff G off Harvey, thanks for the follow, bro. White to move. What do we do, chat? We got rookie 1 from Phantom Master Klinger. H4. I like H4. 97. H5. Rookie 1. Silent King H1. H4. Anytime you say silent, you got to use the emote or I can't read it. It's just anytime you say the silent, you have to put the emote in there. And now you have one now, Musty. So you get a pass. Rookie 1, knight f1, knight g3 from NJ. Okay. Queen c2, h4. Okay. h4. You like h4? Yeah, h4 I like. I do like h4. Let me turn on the engine and see what they like. So here, there are 3 moves in this position. H4 I like, but I mean, I like it more in the blitz game. I'm not even gonna lie. I like H4 more in the blitz game. But maybe, you know, H4, the idea with H4, right? If he takes it, I can play G3, and then I can play in a Tau game. Tau has played like this before with King G2, Rook H1. And then you bring the bishop back to civilization and say, hey, what's up, big dog? Hey, we just want to see who's home. Hello, hi, who's home, right? Rook H1, everything going crazy over here. I mean, this is like ridiculous. We can draw more arrows, my guy. We really can. So, you know, the H4 is not the move. That's not what he played here. He played the more simple and the easier, more solid structure. I am not developed yet. This attack is not ready, right? Because we're still undeveloped. So we need to do something quickly. So with that being said, Rook H1 and we done. There you go. There you go. Define discipline. You're getting better there. You're getting better. Thanks for the follow, SQC person. Is why, right? So here's what happens. He plays Rook E1. Shout out to you, Phantom Master Cleansing. You must be getting a little bit better because you've been getting moves more often than not. Not saying you good yet, by far. We're not saying you good at all. We're just saying that, hey, good job, right? Good job on that one. Rook E1, you got it correct. You got it correct. Rook E1 is it. And yeah, clap it up, Canty. Yeah, okay, I'll clap it up. You deserve one. Good job. Good job, Phantom Master Cleansing. I'll clap it up for you. All right, Rook E1. How does C4 work here? C4 could be a thing, but a lot of times you don't want to be breaking up the position like this when your position isn't really ready for it. And again, what is the theme? What does the title say, right? Follow the yellow brick pawn. Does C4 do anything to help you with this side of the board? If that's a no, don't even think about it, right? Rook E1, not only can it help me remove the knight and put it on this side of the board in Roy Lopez fashion. Think about this, like, this is almost like a Roy, right? Think about this for Roy Lopez players. This is almost like a Roy right now with the bishop on b5 and the knight's just not here. Like he just tried to play the Roy anyway. You know, let me just play the Roy anyway. Don't matter what he do. I'm just going to play the Roy. That's what it looks like he's doing. Because anyone that plays the Roy and knows theory pretty deep knows that the next moves here are Rook E1, Knight F1, Knight G3. You bring this bishop back to A4 and C2, and we got a Roy Lopez, a hybrid that started from the French, which is really, really bad here for black, in fact. So after Rook E1, there's A5, which is, I mean, to me, I mean, yo, bro, you're supposed to be trying to get rid of his bishop. I guess he's trying to maybe close him in. I don't know. He plays A5, right? He plays A5 at this point, pretty easy. Knight F1, we moving the bishop or the knight around. Bishop A6, and now in this position, all right, chat, you have a decision to make. Do we keep the bishop or do we do something different? It is white to move. What do? You playing as Gary right now. E6 was a mouse slip. He meant to play the Roy. Right. Right. Play the move position means not the move you want. Right. Good job, Deviant. We keep it. Keep it, says Frisbee. Andre says keep it. Overtone says Bishop D3. Keep it. Drop it back, says Mike Reeds. Something else. Okay. Bishop A4. Bishop A4 to C2. Bishop D3 and he's done. Bro, it doesn't rhyme. Phantom Master Cleansing. Go back to the lab. Doesn't rhyme. People, I think, hello, Bishop A4. Get rid of it. Who needs it? Bishop C2, Bishop A4, A4, Bishop D3, A4 once again. Here it is, chat. This is what we got. So Bishop A4 is actually the secondary move from the engine. Number 1 actually is the move by Gary. He actually played the number 1 move here. Now, I'm going to be honest. Bishop A4 was mine, and I wasn't even thinking twice about it. I wasn't even thinking twice. Now, the difference here by the engine is move number 1, A4, and he's out the door, right? Thanks, Johnny. That's funny. Bishop D3. Thanks for the follow, X Whispers. Yeah, so Bishop D3, yeah, you can just take it and you can develop. That's cool, but Bishop A4, like I'm trying to, and here's another like Jedi tip for you. People that have space, if you have more space, and space, you know, I have a pawn on E5, which is in black's half of the board, which signifies I have a little bit more space than black does. So because I have a little bit more space than black does, space being an advantage, a very small but good advantage. With that being said, I should try not to trade pieces. And that's just logic, right? I should not trade pieces because the person with less space needs to trade, and the person with more space needs to not trade, right? So I need to not trade. So I'm trying to play Bishop A4, make his pieces still look ridiculous, back this boy up, and then sack everything we own, right? Just bring everything to this side of the board, follow the yellow brick pawn, you know, GG, sack everything, have a nice day. So that's just how we going. But Bishop A4 is a move, that's the secondary move from the engine. Engine says actually this right here, A4. And I'm like, A4, that feels so gross. Like, I almost feel like this gonna take forever. if I do it, when you trade the light square bishop in the French, let me tell y'all something right here. Let me tell y'all something. Come here, young fella. Let me tell y'all something real quick. Look, if you trade the light square bishop in the French, this is usually going to be a very long game. It just depends on what's going on and how, because this bishop helps decisively to even help you provoke weaknesses in black's position. Like bishop d3, you would want to play g6, which provoke weaknesses where the other bishop goes into where the weaknesses were because the pawn's gone. But now that the bishop's gone, when you capture it, which he doesn't even think twice about, by the way, he snapped that boy, didn't even think twice about it. I don't even care that my knight has no squares. It's just the fact that I got rid of your best bishop, and now we gonna just chill and relax and say, as black here, black's like, you can't attack me no more. Like, you can't really get the attack you're looking for anymore. That is black's logic here. And white is saying, I guess I can, because this game ended in 12 moves, okay? So follow the yellow big pawn steal after a4, bishop takes, a takes, rook e8, okay? Rook e8's on the board. Now, chat, it's on you. We back in the driver's seat. How do we do this thing? Meet Slim, thanks for the follow. Appreciate you. Yeah, so what's next? Rook e8 happens. Knight g3 from Andre. Knight g3 from Robert. Dune says probably should move the knight so he can play f3. Okay, yeah, another 12 moves. This game over. Knight g3 from Divine Discipline. Where's the knight going? You guys are correct, right? It just makes sense. h4 you did for show. That's just terrible. Phantom Ass Pleasure. Okay, the rhyme was a little bit better, right? But here, though, h4, I mean, it's just not ready. Like, right? I don't think it's ready yet. And in fact, the engine gives 3 moves. Here they are. Knight e3, which... we say this every stream, right? Every time we do our analysis, engine, I'm going to say no to that one. Okay. I'm going to say no to that one. You can have that one. That one don't make no sense. Give me another move, right? That's what you literally say to the engine. It's 93. Like, bro, what? I mean, I guess you're going knight g4, but like, bro, you tripping. Why would I go knight e3? Really? That's the number 1 move too. Bishop d2 is number 2. Okay. I guess get it off the back rank. Bishop e3 that's one that maybe I would actually consider. Bishop e3, okay, whatever. Right, whatever. But I also want a rook lift as well. Get the rook over here. And remember, follow the yellow brick pawn. That means every piece that I own on this side of the board, even this one, needs to get into the action. Maybe like bishop f4, strange, right? But my idea is move the queen, move this rook, get it here, move the knight, swing this one over, use this one too, and maybe even imagine having doubled rooks on the H file. Like, in which I've had games like that, right? Because I understand the concept of follow the yellow brick pawn. Your pawn structure tells you where you should play. Put all of your pieces on that side of the board and just sack something. Magically, it happens. I learned that from Grandfather Tal. Well, check the rest of this game out. Knight g3. Knight f8. Okay. What's the next move, chat? Follow the yellow brick pawn. What do you do? White to move. Everything you own needs to go to this side of the board. White to move. Put h4 in the engine. See if it changes his mind. Let me see. If h4 happens, h4 does change his mind. It's not like by a lot, but it is definitely a difference in the engine. It goes from like almost half a pawn for white to zeros. They're like, nah, bro, don't do that. Because like it's not ready, right? The best attacks have to be prepared. h4, is this really prepared yet? Right? It's not. It's not prepared. You have everything on the back rank. Everything but the knight. So knight g3 makes more sense. If you have more pieces out, it'd be different. Based off the tempo or the tempi, plural. That's usually what it's about. So he plays knight h5 right here, guys. In fact, I'm going to just let y'all know. And this is what he did. This is not that it's a hard move to find, but he played knight h5, not only to provoke some weaknesses, but to also, get crazy. So he did not play g6 here. Let's see why. Like, if g6 happens, oh, he just goes back to g3, says the engine. I just wanted to see, because he didn't go g6, and I'm like, am I missing something? Even here, it's kind of scary, but he just goes back to knight g3. You get crazy. Yeah, right. Yeah, he plays that. Yeah, he knew, right? So, but he played knight h5, right? So after knight h5 from Gary, Nigel plays knight b to d7, right? So knight goes to d7 here. And then right here, okay, white to move. You got a few moves here. Let me actually see what the engine likes. Okay. Okay, these all make sense. What would I actually do? If I'm looking at this position, what makes a lot of sense to me? Weirdly, that's one of my possibilities. And Yeah, that might be it. Maybe one of the queen moves, right? But it's white to move. So what would you do? Does 93 not make sense to prep h4 to swing the rook to h1? Yeah, 93, it could be. I mean, I think there's like so many plans here, Stock Fisherman. And that's one thing you have to know about the engine too, is if it gives many plans, they're all kind of equal. I mean, they all work, to say the least. They all actually work, which is just kind of a matter of taste. Intuitively thinking queen d2. We have queen d3, actually queen d3, right? Queen c2, bishop f4, g3 for h4 is nice from deviant attack. I like it. I like it. You guys are all saying good moves. In fact, let's go down the line here. Move number 1 is bishop e3 from the engine. Okay, I guess it develops. Queen e2 is another one. Okay, I guess it develops. Right, and then the last one is queen to d3. These are all engine. I like queen d3 too, but I'm also like, well, what am I doing? Like, I always like to make moves that I have a follow-up to or something later on down the line. I don't really understand what I'm doing with queen d3 because maybe I need to move my queen somewhere else later, because now the knight is blocking. Maybe I want to get over here, but then where do I move this knight if I'm trying to swing it over here? So I really don't know what queen d3 actually does. You need to have a move or intention for every single move. Bishop e3 at least develops. I mean, that is intention. Bishop f4 is kind of strange, right? You know, I mean, I guess, and queen d3 actually doesn't attack h7 because like you're never going to take on h7. And in fact, there's a saying that says a knight on f8 will stop the mate. And that's funny that we use rhymes here at the channel, but that's a real thing in chess. Like a knight on f8 will stop the mate a lot of times. So this is never happening, even though this knight's going to be 1000% passive for the rest of the game. But he is stopping mate. You ain't getting mated, right? At the cost of you not having a piece anymore. But you're not getting mated, though. So knight f8 never mate, right? Exactly. So he didn't go queen d3. In fact, this is the move here. And we already saw it in the chat from someone here. Great job if you said this move, g3. He plays g3. And says g3 with the intention of playing h4. So after knight to g6 from black, he plays h4 on the board. Nigel know what for sure, right? Yeah, a queen on d3 looks good to me. Yeah, funny. After h4, knight d to f8, okay? And then king g2 from Gary, right? This is about to get nuts. This is about to get nuts, bro. Like, remember, follow the yellow brick pawn. Everything we own goes to this side of the board. Okay, queen to d7. After queen d7, right? It's white to move, chat. Follow the yellow brick pawn, okay? I want you to think real hard here. I want you to really get into the mind of like, I need to get every piece on this side of the board to attack. How do you do it? It's your turn, chat. It's your turn. Are you really on that level today? Are you really on that Larry? That Larry, right? That level where Gary, I put level and Gary like together. That's why I was like that. Gary at this time, right here. This is Gary for real. That Larry, right? Boy, Andre, what you know? That Larry. You really on that Larry, my guy? That level and Gary, like for real? Are you really there? Watch what this man do. Watch what this man do, bro. This was Gary. Oh, this was like Gary Kasparov, you know, like that Gary. Oh, that Gary. Yeah, that Gary, my guy. That Gary. Watch this. Here it is. I hope y'all ready for this. Hope y'all ready. In fact, the only move right here for black, not only he had a few moves, rook c8, but let's flip the board and look at it to see what he was actually looking at. How do you feel as black in this position, right? How do you actually feel about this? Like, just look at it. Just take a second, look around, and try to think about how do you feel about this position as black? Do you like it? Or is this just, bro, what is this? Right? You feel like you have no space. I see suffocating, cramped, sweaty. How do you feel about this position, bro? I'm sweaty, bro. Imagine that. Okay, that's bad. That's bad. You have no plan. You're defending. You hate the position, right? I would feel all choked up. Correct. You resign. I mean, this is gross. Let's just get this off the screen. Let's flip this back before somebody get hurt or somebody, you know, have some hot flashes or something. We can't have that. So let's flip this, right? We don't want to make nobody feel bad about themselves. So let's put this here. Now we're going to look back at white's position. More space. Everything makes sense here. Here's a move. In fact, we saw it many times from many of you in the chat. Congratulations, you found it. Bishop h6. And we in the mix. Oh my goodness. Big boy move. Wow. Gary hit that man with a move and said, your move, bro. And you know, Gary is animated, right? Gary like huffs and puffs. I guess it was scary. Back then, it was scary playing Gary. Gary, and I rhyme too, man. We just can't help it. We just can't help the rhyme. Scary playing Gary. But Gary was, he would be a very, very scary character, huffing and puffing at the board. Imagine your opponent is like 2,800, and when you make a move, he like scoff at it or like make all these faces. This is like, you know, like just a beast, just all out beast in every area. So this was a scary move. Bishop h6. You already know, like, I either resign or like, I don't know, like, let's just play this out, right? Let's just play this out so I don't make Gary mad. So he don't swing on me right now. Bishop h6. After bishop h6, okay, Harry, right? Funny, yeah, he played bishop h6, bro. So after bishop h6, he ain't got no other choice but to take it. In fact, you know it's bad when the engine says knight f4 is your best move. You should probably play knight f4. Probably, that's what it says. Give up the knight, let him take it, and you get a pawn back. That's the engine's best recommendation, right? That's terrible. After bishop h6. Now, again, think about this, right? The moral of the story today was follow the yellow brick pawn. But if you look at the pawn structure points to where you should play. Where are all of our pieces? Besides this rook, right? Not even necessary. Where are the rest of our pieces, right? The queen at a moment's notice can jump over here, maybe. The knight's over here. The bishop's here, right? And here's what happens. Well, let's see what happens if he takes it, right? Bam. What was Gary's rating when he played this? Like 2,800. But I actually, that's a good question. But you can also Google it, and especially while you're watching this video. It's 2001. So whatever Gary's rating was in 2001. Oh, right here. It shows me on the PGN. Yeah, he was 2827 in 2001. That's ridiculous. 2827 in 01, bro. I was like, shoot, that was before I went to high school in 06. My goodness. Like, talk about what level Gary was on, bro. I went to high school in 06. 2006, I went to high school. He was 2,800 5 years before then. I mean, Gary was on another level, bro. That was ridiculous. But bishop h6, and then g takes h6, and after g takes h6, okay, guys, white to move. After he was already 20-year world champ, right? I mean, that's why, you know, who retires because they no more competition and then come back when it is some. Like, you know what, y'all suck. I'm out of here. Hey, I'm gonna just teach. Then they start coming back. Oh, y'all can play a little bit. All right, I'm gonna come back just for a little bit. See how y'all do it. Let's see what y'all doing now. Now we finally got some comp round here. You were in divers doesn't want to stop. Queen d2, queen d2, queen d2. Yeah, man, unanimous. I love it. That's correct, chat. Queen d2 is the only winning move. You actually have queen c1, but queen d1 is better. It's the best move. All right, so after queen d2, we're hitting queen h6, which is mate, and we great. Look at these knights, right? They have no squares. I mean, talk about being paralyzed. This knight, no squares. These are redundant knights, by the way, is what they call them. Yeah, queen c1 is a bigger flex, just showing you have nothing to do in a position. So funny. Hi, Canty. What's up, champ? What's good? It's good. Queen takes h6 is a real move, bro. Real move. So he plays f5. Tries to get out of it any way possible. Thanks for the follow, Turdbird. 2,000. Wow. Appreciate you. After f5, he takes f6. En passant, very simple. Then he plays bishop d8. Okay, cool. This ain't over yet, right? It really, I mean, it's over, but you have to be accurate because if you play this wrong, in fact, you can go the other way and it won't be in your favor. Ferguson 22, thanks for the follow. All right, white to move, chat. How do you finish this out? You in Gary's shoes. Don't mess this up. Don't mess this up. Gary gonna be real mad at you. Okay, you don't want Gary mad at you if you mess this up. White to move. On croissant. All right. Queen h6 and we live. Not a rhyme. Queen h6 and knight g5. Queen takes pawn. Queen takes h6. Knight e5 from Bobby. Okay. Knight e5 from Mike. Queen h6 maybe. Queen h6. Queen h6. And you guys are right. It's queen h6. So Mike and Bobby, look, hey man, you better hope Gary don't have your address, bro. You just better hope he don't have your address and he can get it. I mean, you play queen d2 and play queen. Right. Well, what else makes sense, right? Deviant, correct. So queen takes h6. Queen takes h6 and it's good. He plays rook h7. What a defensive move, right? What a defensive move. Rook h7 is very defensive. Look at everything defending h7. Gary gonna flag anyway. Oh man. Hey yo, that was great. He gonna flag on the way there. He gonna run out of gas or something. Oh man, stop. Okay. Let's go to the let's just keep going here. Let's just keep going. Right. Oh man. All right. So Rook A7, right? He defends H7. He defends H7. With the knight, the queen, and the rook at the same time. Right. So pretty easy. Obvious. We know it's knight G5, guys. Look at this, right? Follow the yellow brick pawn. Old Gary runs out of gas, but young Gary was a monster. Yeah. I mean, even Gary right now, right? Gary might have had a bad tournament, but I bet you today, because he had that bad tournament too, he like, bro, let me go back. I bet you Gary in the lab. Gary probably working out again. I mean, after something, bro, Gary ain't gonna have that happen again. I mean, come on now. Gary's never gonna let that happen again. Right? I mean, yeah, it happened. Okay, it's over with. Why play him again though? Play him again. You know how that is. It's gonna be another level. It's gonna be another level. I mean, he was just, rusty, right? I've played in a while. Vishy turning up too, right? But Vishy been playing a little bit more. So knight G5. After knight G5, queen takes B5 here, which is really bad. I mean, was there anything better? Yo, hey, chat. This is one of the best moves from the engine. Okay, so here's one of them. One of them is Rook B7. That's obvious. Okay, shuffle. Here's the other one. This is how you know. This is how you know that your position is bad. I'm about to tell you what the engine says the move is here. Thanks for the follow, Feifei. Wow, back at it. Thanks for the follow. Every day until he dies, right? I apologize. Okay, right. Vishy stayed on his game. Isn't he training all young Indian players? Which helps him. They say teaching is learning twice. So him teaching young Indian prodigies, he's learning while he's teaching. It's crazy. It's nuts. Literally nuts. Gary coming out of retirement. Oh, yeah. The chopper singing on the whole chess world. Funny. All right, so check this out. Best move by the engine, right? Besides Rook B7. Number 2, they're like Rook B7 is number 1. And then, for your second move, here's your second best move. Rook E7. I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? Rook E7 is my best move here. Rook E7 and Rook B7. Rook B7, okay, I can see. But Rook E7? Really? You telling me give material. You know what? This is bad, right? This is very bad stuff. But he plays queen takes B5, because as a human, you're not playing Rook E7. Stop, just stop it. Just stop it here. Okay, chat, now it's on you. Finish this thing off. Finish this thing off, chat. What do you do? Tempt Gary to take that rook. When a computer recommends giving up a whole rook, that just means precise for humans, right? It says knight F7 from Musty Rusty. F7 from Play. Rook E7 is actually interesting. Like, it's not hard to push for the win, but it takes longer now. No, it is deviant attack. That's correct. It does take a little bit longer. It's just a ridiculous move. And of course, Nigel Short, as strong as he was and still is, right? He didn't play it. F7, F7. Queen G7. Queen G7 is 100% face blockage. That's right. Guy in the box, if you play Queen G7, just walk away quietly, sign a score sheet ahead of time. Don't tell nobody you're leaving. And just go. It's time to go. Yeah, you do not need to be seen after this game. Queen G7 is not a move. All levels. On all levels, my guy. The move is actually F7, 100%. After F7, yeah, he needed support. Yeah, man, this was a tough game. Queen G7, I had enough time for bullet. Yeah. Rook takes F7. After Rook takes F7, Knight takes F7. After Knight takes F7, Nigel Short right here, he resigned. This was it. That was it. It just said, I'm done. First off, there's mate on G7. In fact, the best move, again, by the engine, Bishop F6. Come on now. Bishop F6? That's your best move? They also say Queen F1 is the second best move. This is your second best. Queen F1. Take it or leave it. Bishop F6, Queen F1. Your pick. Whatever you want. Doesn't matter. Right? It's funny. It's very funny. But with that being said, Nigel Short resigned right here. Now, what to learn from this game, again, from the beginning, let's run through this, is follow the yellow brick pawn. Follow the yellow brick pawn, which means, of course, translation, is always follow the pawn chain. No matter what opening it is, no matter what is going on, your plan should be involved with the pawn chain. I actually was working with a coach, shout out to him, Arthur Kogan. When I was working with him, he was saying the pawn structure is the GPS of the game, which is 1000%. The pawn structure, or the skeleton structure, is what they'll say, skeleton structure, will tell you exactly how you play the entire game. Think about that. If you know what the pawn structure says, which means understand your pawn structures, you can know what to do for the rest of the game based off of a pawn structure, not moves and all this other stuff. The pawn structure. Do you feel me? Right? I hope you understand that, and I hope y'all enjoyed this video today, and see y'all on the next one.